The state of New Mexico has many different beautiful birds, and this one is a hummingbird. They are the smallest migrating birds and also the only birds that can fly backwards. They drink the nectar found in feeders by moving their tongue in and out about 13 times per second. Hummingbirds have no sense of smell, and even though they can't sniff out feeders, they do have good color vision. This is why most feeders are red like this one we have hanging here. It is filled with sweet nectar that feeds the hummingbirds. Of course, in nature, they receive their nectar from the red and orange flowers that attract them. Their tiny little legs are only used for perching and moving sideways while perched. They can't walk or hop. The average number of eggs laid by female hummingbirds is only 2. These eggs have been found in nests smaller than a $half and compare in size to a jelly bean or a coffee bean. This hole was created on the side of our house by a woodpecker. They like things new, so each year they create new holes, and their old holes are often used by other birds as places for their nests. You might wonder why they don't get headaches from hitting their heads so much. Well, woodpecker bills help distribute the shock throughout their thick skull when they are pecking. They also have furry noses. Their nostrils are covered in feathers to keep splinters and dust out while they peck. Woodpeckers' tongues are super long, usually about twice the length of their bill, so that they can reach for insects inside the holes they peck out. Their tongues curl around their skull in a special cavity. Most woodpeckers have either barbed tongues or sticky saliva that helps them pull out insects they find in their holes.
Okay, we found something that we wanted to show you. We come across this quite often. It is this pile of pieces of pine cones. What has happened is the squirrel has sat way up in this tree and pulled off the pine cones and tore them apart, pulled out the pine nuts. So what we see are hundreds upon hundreds of destroyed pine cones. And then, surprisingly, right next to it is part of a structure. If you look, it's like the corner from a log cabin.
This is the New Mexico state bird, the roadrunner. They prefer to run but are able to fly if they need to, and they run up to speeds of 15 miles per hour. Their diet includes insects, lizards, centipedes, mice, and even snakes. They build their nests in low areas that have dense trees and shrubs. The nests are made of sticks, leaves, grass, feathers, and snake skins.
Can you hear the frogs? This is how big the pond is. All the snow is drained into it. It's up to the top of the bank.
This is an example of some of the frogs that we found at the pond. Frogs belong to a group of animals called amphibians, meaning they live in the water as eggs and tadpoles. Then, when they are fully grown, they live on land. Frogs are cold-blooded, which means that their bodies are the same temperature as the air or water around them. When they are cold, they will lay in the sun to warm up, and when they get too warm, they will go into the water to cool their bodies off. So why is it that frogs croak? Well, in most frog species, only the male croaks. They croak to sound cool for the female frogs. Here, listen to some of their croaks. These are garter snakes. They are about 60 to 80 centimeters in length. Garter snakes live in colder temperatures, and this means that they need to hibernate in the winter. They find shelter in cracks in the ground where frost doesn't reach. They hibernate in spaces called dens, in large groups, with hundreds of garter snakes sometimes found together. The main foods of the garter snakes are earthworms, frogs, fish, leeches, tadpoles, and sometimes mice. They're hunted by bears, raccoons, skunks, and especially birds. Crows, magpies, and hawks and owls can find them very easily from the sky.
Okay, hi, we're at the pond and we see several kinds of animals here, but one thing we really love are the salamanders. We don't get very many salamanders in Texas, but this is New Mexico. We're going to post a picture of one for you after we show you the lake. They swim up and they grab bugs that are on the surface of the water. They poke their little heads out. There's one. Did you see it? It just did right over there. There's one. There, over there.
Here's a picture of a mountain salamander. And this is a tiger salamander, which we have in our pond. So as a recap today, we learned about the state bird of New Mexico, the roadrunner. We also learned all about amphibians that live in the water and also on land. Specifically, we talked about salamanders and frogs. We saw the woodpecker with its extremely long tongue, and we also watched as the hummingbird sipped on some nectar. Until next time, stay curious. Bye, guys.